Hey, it's Mazzy, and I've been a little under the weather, so I haven't made a video in a few days. But here's another edition of It's the Music Stupid. Now, this one's a little different because instead of pulling a lot of records, 5 records from my collection that I've just nurtured over the years and listened to and grown up with and lived a life with, I pulled some records from the Dizzy collection. Now, if you've been watching my channel, Dizzy is this wonderful gentleman south, about 25, 30 minutes from me, south of Seattle, and has reached out to me end of last year to curate his collection and sell a lot of it off. And we've been doing these auctions, and I've been tempted to keep certain things. I really haven't kept a lot. I want to show like several albums that I'm possibly keeping, and there's been really amazing records. Some very rare, some not so rare, some commonplace, multiple copies. If you watch those videos, I have a box here that I pulled of just some that I'm considering keeping, and I want to. But I know the music. I've known the music. It's not like these are records that are totally blind to me. Now there are things I've seen that are blind to me, but first, I had this one box, and there's like this sports shirt in it, or this golf shirt. Not a golf shirt. Actually, Dizzy made some shirts that he gave to me and some of my friends who were involved helping sell the Dizzy collection. So thank you. But you know what's really weird about this shirt? I just found it in this box with some top secret files or something, and I'm not sure how they got mixed up in that in that box. But things like that happen. It just, we all experience this kind of stuff occasionally. And I do want to do another thank you to Dizzy because recently I did a video on Paul McCartney's new book, 1966 Eyes of the Storm, and I showcased some of the great photographers that photographed the Beatles over the years historically. And I'm a big, photo book collector and an archivist in my own right of that. And he pulled from his collection and gave me this book. This is Jazz by William Claxton on 12th Street Press. I have several books on 12th Street. I think I have a Dennis Hopper collection of his photographs. I would say out of all the great jazz photographers, William Claxton is the bomb. I have no books of his. I don't own any of his photographs, but he's taken an amazing array of some of the greatest jazz artists and blues artists of, historically. Just want to go through a few pages here, as you can see. There's Sonny Rollins there. But just, he's got most of his work was black and white, and he just has a great art direction sense, a great, his setup, his moments, his captures, mostly kind of in the moment at the studio during performances. Just really, really amazing, amazing artist, an amazing photographer. Look at that shot of Monk. Just wonderful, of course. Billie Holiday, one of the greatest jazz, blues jazzy singers of all time. But thank you for this book. It's an amazing book, and I will cherish it in my collection. This is fun I pulled. Now this, I'm not counting this one. I haven't listened to it yet, but this brings back some childhood memories for a lot of reasons. This is Mr. Magoo in Hi-Fi, RCA Victor in mono. Of course, the voice of Jim Backus. I just wanted to show that because I thought it was fun. First, this is really cool. I don't have this record, so I'm probably going to want to, grab onto this one. This is John Renbourn's second album, and this is a UK edition, which is on, I think it's on Transatlantic Records, out of London. John Renbourn and Bert Jansch are two of the greatest, the seminal British folk artists of the new folk revival, a hybrid of traditional folk music out of the UK and obviously from England, Scotland, Ireland. He's was born in England, and this is a wonderful record. This is his second album, 1966. He's done collaborations, obviously, with Bert Jansch, and of course, the two are founding members of the great fusion of a band, Pentangle. 1968's debut album, with Jackie McShea on vocals, is one of the most beautiful folk rock, more on the jazz side of albums, acoustic based, stand-up bass, just Danny Thompson on bass, just a wonderful, wonderful record. And I'm looking forward. I know this music, I have it on CD, but I never had a vinyl version of this. This is Another Monday, again from 1966. So this is prior to his creation of Pentangle. John Renbourn, a wonderful series of records that were eventually put out by Warner Brothers Reprise in the States here in the late 60s into the 70s. Highly recommended if that description floats your boat. Now this is something too. This is not particularly a valuable record, doesn't sell for a lot, but I love cowboy music, and I have various compilations of the Sons of the Pioneers. And to me, they're one of the great cowboy artists of all time. Their harmonies, their soothing vocal stylings, and their music. This record opens up with one of the most iconic cowboy songs of all time, Tumble Tumbleweed, a song that even if you don't think you know it, you've heard it. Home on the Range, of course, a cowboy classic on here. One of my favorite all-time songs on here that is just a trademark in the great songbook of cowboy, and that is another song written by Bob Nolan, and that is Cool Water. Water. One of the most beautiful songs ever written, Sons of the Pioneers. This is an RCA mono copy. Hal Willner became the music director for years and years and years for Saturday Night Live, and he really, he was like a musicologist, and he brought all kinds of things together, and he started putting these kind of comps out. I believe this is the first, maybe prior to this he did the one on Nino Rota, music of Fellini films that he did, and I have that on CD. I don't know, it's probably on vinyl somewhere. I don't have it. I would love to have it. He did also an album called Stay Awake later in the 1980s that have just a wonderful array of really interesting artists doing songs from the Walt Disney songbook, from films like Snow White and Dumbo and just Cinderella, and just really a great thing with artists like everything from Tom Waite to Lou Reed to Laurie Anderson. It's just a really mix of artists. Now, this one was produced again in 1984, and this is music of Thelonious Monk, and it's called That's the Way I Feel Now. I haven't listened to this version, but I know this record fairly well. It's got artists like NRBQ covering a song, Steve Kahn and Donald Fagen, obviously Donald Fagen from Steely Dan. It's got Dr. John, Max Rebennick. It's got a version of Mysterioso by Carla Bley with Johnny Griffin on tenor sax, and obviously Carla Bley on organ. Just a great mix. Don Was is on here. Todd Rundgren is on here. Randy Weston on piano. John Zorn does a version with Arto Lindsay and Wayne Horvitz of Shuffle Boyle. This is just a really interesting mix of artists, and there's a whole series of these that he's done over the years. Hal Willner, one of the great archivists, great New Yorkers, just incredible collection, ensemble collection, curated and recorded especially for the album. These aren't people left and right brought in different cuts on their own. He really produces them, and he arranges them and pulls them together with the artist. But just love this record. And then there's Little Girl Blue. This is the great debut album of Nina Simone. Nina Simone obviously she went through a storied career, a challenging career at times, from the blues, jazz, club scene to concert pianist, a classically trained pop folk songs or RCA stuff from 1970s is really wonderful. That version of Here Comes the Sun and Just Like a Woman is magnificent. She wrote Young, Gifted, and Black that Aretha Franklin would cover later on as well. But this debut album, I have the Acoustic Sounds audiophile version, stereo. This is a mono version, and it's just a really great. This is a well-loved version, so it's not really quiet, but I adore this album, so I think this is one I'm going to keep as well. I did show this in another video, and this has been lately, several people have been showing this. This is the debut album by the New Jersey-based Italian brothers of Santo and Johnny. Pedal steel guitar and electric guitar, and of course the song that everyone knows, or even if you don't know the name, of Sleepwalk. Check it out. This is their stereo album. I think there was a mono version that is more common, but the stereo version in 1957 is really not easy to get, and so I think I want to keep this one as well. And I'm going to probably keep one of the two of these. This is I think this is their second album, Encore, Santo and Johnny. This great cover. There's a mono and a stereo version. So I'm going to check these out. The thing about these two Santo and Johnny albums, every track is great. We know Sleepwalk, and that's a signature track, and there's a certain magnetism to that. It's been used on countless films and television shows. But every song on both these albums, it's a really good listen. It's got a dreamy quality because of that pedal steel especially. So Santo and Johnny. So before I totally lose my voice today, I want to thank Dizzy, and I want to thank all of you for watching. And thank you, Dizzy, for allowing me to curate a portion of your collection. And thanks for this cool as shit-ass book, Jazz, by William Claxton. So I'll see you soon. Mazzy loves you.